French Tips, The Setup Before the Setup, a prequel to 100K the Easy Way, written by Anthony Harrison. Chapter 1, Clean House, Dirty Moves. Narrator, Tonia, Oakland, 89th and MacArthur, 8:07 a.m. Heat already rising off the blacktop like it had something to prove. I sat behind the wheel of the black-on-black Audi Q8 we boosted from a Tesla charging lot out in Walnut Creek. Plates were clean, windows dark, tires waxed. The whip matched the role we were playing. High-end professionals from the outside, straight grime underneath. French Tips cleaning service, 3 girls, 3 baddies. But we didn't mop floors, we mopped game. Karen was in the passenger seat, scrolling her phone with her nails clicking against the screen. Daycare said I got till 3, she muttered. After that, they taxed me $5 a minute. 5 a minute. Shit sound like interest on a Benz I ain't even driving. She was rocking all black like always. Tight-fitted top, leggings, and a jacket that barely covered the pink pistol on her hip. Chocolate brown, short and thick, with thighs built like she'd carry secrets in silence. Ain't smile much unless her daughter was around. But today, she smirked. That meant she was ready. Cherry sat in the back, gum popping like punctuation. She had her long curly hair up in a bun, gold hoops swinging. Every time she turned her head. Light-skinned and tall, with them doe eyes and a slim waist that had fools forgetting why we even showed up. That dentist? His wife tagged herself in Cabo last night, Cherry said. He's solo. 6 p.m. appointment across town. House empty, cameras active. But I pulled his Wi-Fi code off a fake customer review last week. We good. I looked at both of them. This was what we did. Ops. Showed up like fantasies. Walked out with secrets. But deep down, we was all counting down our exits. We made our move at 9:02 a.m. Cherry knocked. Karen held the supplies. I stayed posted by the gate, looking normal but always watching. This wasn't just a grab and go. This was a test. Every hit we made had to be cleaner than the last. We wasn't just stealing. We was casing. Karen hit the back office. Peeled off with 2 watches, a laptop, a loose envelope of dental insurance checks. Cherry slid into the bedroom and clocked the safe black fireproof 4 digits. She used the same trick she always did. Lotion on her fingers, tap all the buttons, pull back, and scan for the ones with residue. 4 tries, safe opened. Inside, cash, and a gun wrapped in a silk scarf. By 9:43, we were out. In East Oakland again, counting up at Simone's stash. We made $8,200 in clean bills. 3 bracelets. 1 unregistered Glock 19. Another day, another win. Then Cherry's phone buzzed. She looked down. Froze. Then turned the screen to me. Davon, you girls hit the dentist on 93rd. Thought y'all cleaned houses, not safes. I clenched my jaw. Davon used to be her ex. Small-time booster. Ran with a crew that watched too much BMF and thought a rented Lambo made them gangsters. He shouldn't know, I said. Nobody knows. This was airtight. Karen pulled her piece from her purse without even looking. Somebody talking, she said. Or watching, I added. I looked at Cherry. You gotta pull up on him. Alone. Make it look like you ain't spooked. See what he knows. And who he got it from. Cherry hesitated, then nodded. As she walked out the door, I grabbed her wrist. Cherry, I said. If he say the wrong thing, don't call me. Don't warn me. Just handle it. I've been ready, but we had no idea how deep the betrayal went. French Tips, The Setup Before the Setup. Chapter 2, Cherry Bomb. Narrator, Cherry, Oakland, 8:37 p.m. Davon said meet him at the back of the old Quick and Go off 98th and Birch. He always picked them sketchy spots. Said it kept the feds from seeing him, like he mattered that much. But I knew Davon. He mattered to me once, until he started acting like I was just another name in his call log. Now, he was a lead, a risk, maybe even a snake. I pulled up solo in my cousin Tonia's other car, a 2019 white Nissan with paper tags and wipes in the glove box. She kept that one off the books for reasons like this. I wore what Davon liked, black tights, oversized hoodie, hair down, no makeup, effortless, soft, like the girl he thought he could still play. But my blade was tucked in my boot, and I had a small pistol taped under the cup holder. I wasn't here to flirt, I was here to fish. He was already there, leaned against a busted BMW with 2 different rims and a fresh detail job. All flash, no stability. That was Davon. Damn, Ma, he smirked. You still fine as hell. I kept my face neutral. What you want? He gave me that guilty smile. Wanted to talk. I heard something. Thought you should. You ain't hit me in 6 months. But now you know something? I ain't no hater, he said. But I got folks that said they saw y'all. Said you and your crew ain't just cleaning baseboards. I narrowed my eyes. Who told you? He paused too long. I ain't finna burn my people. Then don't. Just answer one thing. I stepped closer, slow, steady. Did you tell somebody about us? Did you mention French Tips by name? And that was all I needed. I turned to leave. He reached for my arm. Cherry, wait. I spun back, eyes lit. You mention me again to anybody, you're not going to walk away next time. You understand? He smirked. You still got that fire in you. I pulled the switchblade and pressed it against his stomach, just below the belt. Test it, I whispered. See what happens. He froze. No more jokes, no more smiles. As I walked off, I heard his phone buzz. She here, alone. That's when my heart dropped. I dipped around the corner behind the liquor store, hit the emergency line on my burner, and sent one ping to Tonia. That meant follow me, quiet, armed. 2 minutes later, a dark silver Charger pulled up. Not Davon's crew, someone else. Out jumped 2 men in sweats, gloves on, eyes locked on where I'd just been standing. I stayed low behind the trash bins, watched them pace, looking for me. They didn't find me, but I found them. One of them, tatted neck, star on his wrist. That was one of Simone's cousins. A dude named Trey. He shouldn't have known nothing about our licks, not unless someone close gave him the drop. Tonia picked me up 20 minutes later in the Audi. I climbed in, breathing heavy. Who? She asked. I looked her in the eyes. Simone's people. Tonia's jaw clenched. Cherry. I ain't killed Davon, but I wanted to. You should have. Now we had confirmation. French Tips was compromised by someone in our circle, and I had a feeling it wasn't just about money. French Tips, the setup before the setup. Chapter 3, Karen's Load. Narrator Karen, East Oakland, 11:02 p.m., 3 years old. My twin, brown skin, wild curls, that same serious stare I've been giving fools since middle school. She rested on my chest in that cheap-ass twin bed we both shared, little feet twitching, snoring soft, and all I could think about was how close I came to killing someone last night. Said Simone's people might be involved. Now Simone, that's like family. If she snake us, I swear to God I'll bury her behind her own salon. I laid Malia down slow, pulled on my hoodie, and went to the living room. 9mm, extra mag, prepaid flip, and the burner tablet. I pulled up the cleaning schedules and start times. Simone had access to every address. But what bugged me? Dentist hit, she only knew about it 2 hours before. And still. Trey showed up right after Cherry pulled off. That was inside timing. Real tight, too tight. I hit Tonia on FaceTime. She answered with her camera pointed at the ceiling. Her signature move when she don't want nobody reading her eyes. I know who it was, I said. She didn't respond. I think Simone gave us up. Maybe not on purpose. Maybe Trey caught something. But either way, I don't trust it. She's helped us since day one, Tonia said. We don't move on that kind of hunch without proof. I leaned in close to the screen. We don't have time for proof. You either trust your circle or you protect your future. She looked down. That's when I saw it. Guilt. Tonia knew more than she was saying. I ain't the one you gotta lie to, I said, but you need to decide if this crew's still solid. 'Cause if not, I'm already planning my exit, Tonia sighed. You leaving? I stared deadpan. I'm a mother. I don't want to kill nobody I call family, but I will. After we hung up, I went to my closet and pulled out the little bag I kept stashed since Malia was born. It had a different name ID, baby wipes, burner birth certificate, $4,000 cash, and one of her old pacifiers. That bag was our escape plan. I wasn't ready to run yet, but I knew one thing. Tonia wasn't telling the whole story, and the closer we got to our big payout, the more snakes were going to rise from the cracks. French Tips, the setup before the setup. Chapter 4, Dirt Under Nails. Narrator Tonia, Oakland, 2:14 a.m. My phone buzzed. Again, blocked number. For the third night in a row, but I knew who it was. Rico. Rico wasn't just a flame. He was gasoline. He lit up everything he touched. Hearts, hustles, safe houses. We ran scams together back when I was 19. Bank drops, unemployment fraud, fake taxes. By 21, I had a Benz and a burn book with 20 aliases. By 22, Rico was locked. I walked away clean. But now, he was back, and I was dirty again. Only this time, it was under the French Tips name. Earlier that week, he popped up at a party on 64th Ave, uninvited, suited, smiling, clean like he just beat 3 charges in a conspiracy. Tonia, he'd said, brushing his thumb across my shoulder like old times. You the only queen I ever took a L for. I ain't respond. But my heart did. I hated that. No pressure. Just a line of game that sat in my soul. You out here sweeping crumbs when you could be baking the cake. I've been thinking about that line all week. French Tips was smart, slick, sexy, but it wasn't forever. And lately, every play came with more risk than reward. Cherry was heated. Karen was paranoid. And me, I was tired. Tired of being the one who always had to make the next move while everyone else waited for me to keep them safe. So when Rico called again tonight, I answered. Where you at? I asked. Not far. Slide through. 20 minutes later, I was in the back of a gated townhouse on the edge of Emeryville. He opened the door shirtless, with that same cocky grin I used to fall asleep to. Inside, blueprints, names, photos of politicians, business owners, even cops. Rico was playing a whole different game. Skull that house robbing he said. I got corporations in bed with nonprofits funneling kickbacks. You helped me build it, I cut you in 50-50. Real power. Legit. I stayed silent. You got girls running maid missions in lingerie, dodging bullets. How long before one of y'all don't come back? That hit. I stood by the window, looking out at the dark skyline. He came up behind me, slid his hands around my waist, pulled me close. You lead him too long, baby. Time to leave for yourself. I ain't sleep that night. Went home and sat on the floor of my bathroom until, that's when I decided. I was gonna make one last run with the girls. Then I was out. Only problem? Secrets don't stay buried in this life, and I just dug my own grave, with dirt still under my nails. French tips, the setup before the setup. Chapter 5, The Real Simone. Narrator Simone. East Oakland, 6:43 a.m. I'd been up since 4. Old habits from my first hustle. Before nails, before lashes, before French tips. Back when I moved weight in hair glue bottles, now I ran a legit salon. Owned a building, rented the space above it to a tax guy I used to date. But no matter how clean my papers looked, I was always 2 steps from the game. That's how I met Tonia. She didn't want nails. She wanted freedom. I need a place to wash money, she whispered the first time she sat in my chair, but I didn't. She reminded me of a younger me, the one who didn't know yet that the game eats the loyal first. At first it was light. Cleaning jobs, writing invoices, passing them off as hair. But as the money grew, so did the risk. And lately, Trey, my cousin, started asking too many questions. Started peeping addresses. To the French tip schedule board I kept tucked in. 3 days ago I found out the hard truth. Trey sold their location to some hitters in North Richmond. They was going to hit the crew mid-job, take the bag, scare 'em off the turf. I shut it down before it happened. Paid a stack out of pocket to pull the plug, but Tonia didn't know. And I ain't tell her. Because deep down, not since Rico came back. I saw him at that party on 64th Ave. Rico ain't just a flame. He used to be my man before Tonia ever met him. He cheated, lied, got me hemmed up in some wire fraud back in 15. Tonia ain't know that part. She thought she was getting the bag. She was really just signing back into his plan. So I started watching. Her calls, her pull-ups, and when I found out she was planning to leave the girls behind after one last run, I made my own plan. That night I texted Trey, watch Tonia. If she slips, we step in. I didn't want to hurt her, but if it came down to it, better them than me. French tips, the setup before the setup. Chapter 6, Blood on Tips. Narrators, Tonia and Cherry. Tonia, North Oakland, 4:58 p.m., gated property, Spanish-style mansion, real marble, 3-car garage. The kind of house where the help enters through the side door. Perfect. It was a fake booking. Simone set it up last minute. Said the client was an old flame-turned crypto fiend. Lives alone, keeps cash on hand, paranoid, no cameras inside. Cherry called it a high-risk, high-reward situation. Karen said she ain't liked the setup but came anyway. Her daughter needed school clothes. Me? I just needed this to be the last job. I drove. Karen rode shotgun, quiet, checking her weapon in her purse like she always did when shit felt off. Cherry sat in the back, leaning forward, chewing the hell out of some gum like she was trying to bite through her nerves. Y'all ready? I asked. No answer. I didn't blame him. We parked out front like it was a regular day, matching outfits, rubber gloves, branded bag of fake cleaning supplies. Cherry rang the bell twice. No answer. Side doors open, she said. I hesitated. Doors that are unlocked in neighborhoods like this? They mean you're expected. Cherry. Inside, 5:14 p.m. The house was too clean. Like somebody already came through. Like a setup. I motioned to Karen to hang back by the front just in case. Tonia moved upstairs. I stayed low, checking rooms. In the back office, I found what we came for. Open safe, loose stacks, a passport, a folder with our names. Wait, what? I flipped it open. Cherry Johnson, Karen Fields, Tonia Moore, photos, dates, addresses, and a note clipped inside, assets. Rico wants leverage. My heart dropped. I backed away fast, ran into the hallway. Tonia. She appeared at the top of the stairs, but her face, it wasn't surprise. It was guilt. Tonia, I whispered, you setting us up? She opened her mouth. Boom, gunshot. Tonia. The shot came from the front door. Karen. I ran, but by the time I hit the first floor, she was already down, bleeding from the leg, but before he could finish, blood on the gloves. Cherry. Tonia tried to speak. I raised the gun at her. Who else knew about this house? I snapped. Trey knew. But I didn't send him, she said, shaking. Simone did. I swear to God, Simone sold us out. No, you lied. You worked with Rico. She's lying, Karen groaned from the floor. She was planning to leave us. I looked at both of them. The trust was gone. All we had now was survival. French tips, the setup before the setup. Chapter 7, Everybody Out. West Oakland, 6:12 p.m. I was bleeding out in the back of the car, towel wrapped around my thigh, gripping my phone in one hand and a bottle of Tito's in the other. Tonia was driving with her mouth shut. Cherry sat in the back beside me, gun still in her lap, eyes locked on the rear view like she was trying to burn holes in Tonia's head. The whole car smelled like sweat, gunpowder, and baby wipes. I couldn't feel my leg, but I could feel the truth. It was over. Flashback, 2 years ago. Her daddy was locked up in Susanville. He missed the whole pregnancy. Wrote letters like they mattered. I ain't even read 'em. Tonia brought diapers every week. Cherry cooked. We wasn't French tips back then. We was just three broke girls watching reruns of Love and Hip Hop and dreaming of a way out. Tonia came up with the name one night after doing her nails. If we gonna get dirty, let's look clean doing it. Now, she was the reason I might never walk right again. Take that Rico deal and dip, sell the name, leave us. We drove to an old safe house near the San Leandro border, pulled Malia out of daycare early. She ran up and hugged me before she saw the blood. Then she froze. "Mommy," she said, voice barely a whisper. That hurt more than the bullet. That night, Cherry slept with the burner under her pillow. Tonia ain't sleep at all. I heard her crying in the bathroom. Quiet. A leader who finally realized she lost her soldiers. Flashback 6 months ago. She's got the heart, she told me. But you got the grit. I didn't get it then, but now I do, present. We made our decision the next morning. Tonia could stay. But Cherry and me, no more setups. No more fake cleanings with real pistols. Just Malia, just peace. Or at least the closest thing to it we could get. But the thing about the game, you don't quit it. You run from it till it finds you again. French tips, the setup before the setup. Narrator, Rico. Downtown Sacramento, top floor suite, 3:36 a.m. Money don't sleep. Neither do I. I sat in front of 3 screens. Surveillance, wire transfers. A call log I could scroll with one finger and destroy 15 people's lives. That's power, not the kind you post about. Your name in a DA's office and makes them. Tonia thought she left me in the past. Nah, Tonia was the plan. See, years ago I did 2 years in Lompoc. Fraud, conspiracy, and some light money laundering. Tonia was supposed to hold it down. Instead, she ran off, flipped a cute hustle with a mop and some tight jeans and started calling herself boss. Cool, let her live. But when I got out, French tips was everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, luxury cleaning for elite clients. What it really was, free intel. Rich homes, loose valuables. They didn't even know they were, so I made my move. Unlocked safes. Feeding a predator. First, Simone, she still carried guilt from our old play back in 2015. I leaned into that, fed her whispers, bought her nephew a chain, told her Tonia was building an empire without her. Next, Trey. That boy was easy. $2,000 and some fake weed packs had him ready to switch sides mid-job. Then I hit Tonia, smooth, no pressure. I made her feel powerful again, told her she could flip French tips into something bigger. Truth, I just needed access. But when she hesitated, when she started asking about what happens to I moved up the timeline, set it up with one of my burner companies, planted that folder on purpose. I needed Cherry to see it. I needed them split. Once French tips falls apart, I swoop in and build a new crew. Only problem, Cherry didn't fold, Karen didn't scare. And Tonia, she still got that wild card streak, which means now I gotta do what I always do when a plan goes sideways. Burn everything. French tips, the setup before the setup. Chapter 9, Trap Queen Resurrection. Narrator, Cherry. Reno, Nevada, 1:42 p.m., snow on the ground, blood in my veins, and a Glock 43 in my purse. Me and Karen had been laying low in a cheap extended stay off the freeway. Fake names, burner phones, Wi-Fi off, TV on static. Malia was watching cartoons in the next room, rocking her pink headphones, safe for now. But safe ain't forever. Not in this life. And definitely not with Rico still breathing. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't stop thinking about that folder with our names in it. Tonia broke my heart. Rico broke the rules. And Karen? Karen was the only one I still trusted. She came out the bathroom, fresh out the shower, towel wrapped around her curves, eyes heavy. "You look like you trying to kill somebody," she said. "I am," I replied, without blinking. She chuckled, limped toward the bed. The bullet wound still healing. The trust wound never would. "You want to take Rico down?" she asked. I nodded. She looked at Malia, then back at me. "Then we got to stop thinking like robbers and start moving like CEOs. Flashback, 2 weeks ago. While Karen was still in recovery, I had snuck out to meet with one of my old flings, Nico, a former hacker turned startup fraud consultant. He owed me a favor. I gave him one address, Rico's clean business in Sacramento, into the system with a USB and a bag of gas. "Your boy dirty," he said, scrolling through wire transfers, fake W9 seconds, dummy corporations. I got it all. I met with a woman named Lisette the next day, mid-30s, wears vintage Chanel and carries A38 in a Louis Vuitton purse, known for 2 things. Keeping secrets and weaponizing them. She owed Karen from a gun charge they both beat in 19. I showed her Rico's files. She whistled. "Girl," she said, "this ain't just hustle. This is Rico charges worthy of Rico himself. That's the point. Now it was time to flip the narrative. We started French tips too. But this time, We only hit Rico's partners. Fake cleans, real extractions. We took files, flash drives, voice memos, hidden safes, secret wives, anything we could use to burn his whole operation to the ground. And we didn't keep the cash. We sent it to random burner charities. We wasn't doing it for money anymore. We was doing it for vengeance. Karen stayed behind with Malia. I did the dirt. I wore black wigs, red wigs, fake freckles, dental caps, press-on nails in every color of the rainbow. Every house I hit, I left one thing, a gold-tipped feather with the initials for it. Cherry wasn't just a thief anymore. I was the ghost in Rico's empire, and I was coming for the throne. French tips, the setup before the setup. Chapter 10, What Remains of Tonia. Narrator, Tonia. Oakland, 8:56 p.m. They say silence is peaceful, but when you're guilty, it's punishment. I've been sleeping in my auntie's back room with a mattress that folded in the middle like regret. Rico cut me off. Simone stopped returning my calls. And me was just a woman with a name no one trusted. Went back to basics. Clean jobs only. No casing, no robbing, no files under the sink. The French Tips brand was toxic. Nobody called back. Then I got the box. Left on the porch. No return address. No markings. Inside, a gold-tipped feather, a flash drive. A photo of Cherry in front of Rico's office with a smirk on her face and a message scribbled across the back. You taught me this. Now I'm taking it to the next level. My stomach dropped. It was surveillance footage. Cherry, dressed as a hotel maid, playing spyware in the office of one of Rico's shell companies, and another, she wasn't running, she was hunting. The first time in weeks I felt something other than, I felt pride, then fear. Because if Rico found out what she was doing, he wouldn't just retaliate, he'd wipe her out. I grabbed my phone and called a number I swore I'd never dial again. I ain't got time, she snapped. Silence. Then, you late. He already knows. My heart stopped. What? He's moving tonight. Word is he's sending someone to Reno. I dropped the phone, grabbed my keys. Cherry ain't trust me anymore. Karen barely spoke my name. But I made this mess, and if I gotta die to fix it, then so be it. French Tips, the setup before the setup. Chapter 11, Reno Heat. Narrators Cherry and Karen. Cherry, Reno, 3:33 p.m. I should have known the energy shifted. I was sitting in a coffee shop downtown watching my next mark across the street. A mid-level Rico puppet named Marvin Oates. Small-time lawyer, big-time coward. He kept a manila envelope on him that I knew was loaded with Shell Corp data. I had a fake smoothie order in my hand, press-on smile, and my stomach tight like a drum. Then my phone buzzed. One text. From Tonia. He knows. He's coming. GET out now. My chest locked. I looked at the reflection in the window. Black Suburban. Tinted. Too clean for Reno. And in that moment, all I could think about was Karen and Malia. Karen. Reno. 3:34 p.m. I was in the cereal aisle arguing with a 3-year-old over Paw Patrol waffles. Malia was mid-meltdown, and I was laughing through the headache when I heard it. Tires screeching. Doors slamming. I peeked out the aisle. 2 men. All black. Mask. No carts. They wasn't here for groceries. They was here for me. I grabbed Malia and ducked into the back of the store, heart jackhammering. I pulled the small Glock from the baby bag and slid it into my hoodie pocket. She was crying. I held her close. Mommy? She said. I kissed her forehead. You good, baby, you good. 3:37 p.m. My vision tunneled. Get to the freezer aisle, back exit. I'm on my way, holding Malia close, sliding between carts like it was. I didn't look back. I hit the freezer aisle just as the first man turned the corner. He raised the weapon. Boom, Cherry. I took the shot from behind a stacked soda display, dropped him. Second guy turned toward me. We exchanged fire. He caught my shoulder. I kept shooting. Blood everywhere, my hands shaking, Malia screaming. Then a blur appeared. A familiar voice. Tonia. She rushed in, pistol drawn, breath and heavy, eyes wild. She looked at me, then Cherry, then Malia. You good? She asked. We didn't answer, just stared. And in that silence, we understood. Tonia came back for us later that night. We sat in the motel, shoulder bandaged, Malia asleep in Karen's lap. Tonia poured 3 shots of cheap vodka. Cherry stared at her. You lied to us. You used us. Tonia nodded. And I came back, Karen spoke soft. What now? I looked between them both, then smiled. Now, we finished this. French Tips, the setup before the setup. Chapter 12, Strike Back. Narrators Tonia, Karen, Cherry, Tonia, Sacramento, 2 weeks later. The French Tips name used to be our disguise. Now, it was the weapon. We flipped the whole operation. Same blueprint, but now it was built to dismantle Rico from the inside out. We had everything we needed. Cherry's intel and evidence. And Karen's strategy and street sense. Simone's silence bought with dirt and leverage. Went in Lisette's deep reach into Vegas and the IRS. Moved in shadows. No more social media. No selfies in mansions. No gold-tipped nails. Now it was hoodies, burner laptops, encrypted drives, and heat in every purse. Operation Polish Remover, Oakland, secret spot behind 85th. I kept Malia with my mama for the week, told her we was on a business trip. The night before we made our move, I looked in the mirror. I didn't see no victim. No sidekick, not even a mom. I saw a soldier. I loaded clips and memorized names. Rico wasn't just going down, he was going down ugly. Downtown San Francisco, Rico's grand opening gala, 8:04 p.m. We came dressed like everything he loved. Money, power, sex appeal. Rico threw a launch party for his new consulting firm, a front built on the bodies of every house we'd hit. And he didn't even see us. Tonia walked in first, black dress, clean cut, businesslike. Karen came in from the side, disguised as one of the catering staff. Me? I wore red, the same red I had on the day I shot his hitter in Reno. We planted bugs, swapped USB drives. Simone intercepted his laptop feed. Lizette leaked his financials to a journalist in D.C. and then I walked up to him, face to face. He grinned. Ain't seen you in a minute, baby girl. I smiled. Ain't been hiding, just cooking. Cooking what? I leaned in. Your funeral. Boom. Police lights flooded the lobby. IRS agents, state feds, guns drawn, documents in hand. Rico's smile cracked. They cuffed him with the same gold cuffs he wore to stunt. Tonia. We watched from across the street, silent, no champagne, no cheers, just closure. Cherry whispered, "It's done." I shook my head, nah. Now it begins. French tips, the setup before the setup. Epilogue, the tip jar. Narrator, Tonia. 6 months later, San Leandro. The sign on the door said, French Tips Agency, protection, paperwork, power. We were no longer pretending. We weren't cleaning houses. We were cleaning up lives. We took in women like we once were, cornered by the game, choked by men, and looking for the kind of freedom that don't come with a pistol in your purse. We gave them tools, LLC filings, self-defense classes, grant writing, encrypted phones. We even had therapy Thursdays. Karen ran security. Malia, now in pre-K, had a pink vest with boss in training embroidered on the back. Karen still kept a piece in her boot, but her eyes smiled more now. Cherry moved to Vegas, ran logistics for Lisette's legal escort agency, but this time all papers clean, all books straight. She met someone, a quiet photographer named Eli. She sent me a picture last week of her and him holding hands in front of the Eiffel Tower. The one in Vegas, not Paris. But still, it was something. I stayed back, held the foundation, made peace with the part of me that once burned everything I touched. And just when I started to believe we might finally be free, there it came. A letter. No stamp, no return. Just slid under the door after hours. Inside, one feather, a sheet of prison paper, Rico's handwriting. I understand now why you chose him over me. But you should know, the empire never really dies. It just changes shape. I'll see you soon. Or I sat there for a long time, letter in one hand, lighter in the other. Then I burned it. Watched the ashes drift into the air like the tips of a French manicure, polished, clean. But behind it, all fire. 100% K the easy way.